Looks like Yale is going to take that heavyweight third varsity race by a pretty significant margin. Again, going to check a little bit later on to see the full results and full times, but here we are in the women's lightweight. This is the big one. This is for the Bean Pot and the Murray Cup.
It is, of course, between BU, MIT, and Harvard Radcliffe. We see the first initial pushes here from these sides in the initial start. We take a look at the lineups here for each team. Start with BU and Katie Barnett, the Cox. Janice Hagerman is the stroke. Amy Connell will be the seat 7. Izzy Beiter will be in seat 6. Haley Prindle in seat 5. Caroline Birdsall in seat 4. Megan Robinson in seat 3. Tamara Gelfman in seat 2. And Frances Hossman is the bow for BU. For the MIT Engineers, it'll go as follows. Chloe Thacker will be the Cox. Sophia Blackburn will be the stroke. Jamie Cook will be in seat 7. Emily Rabovitz will be in seat 6. Haley Higginbotham will be in seat 5. Sophie Anderson will be in seat 4. Sophie Herskovic will be in seat 3. Bridge Bain in seat 2. Frances Parker Hale will be the bow for MIT. And for Harvard Radcliffe, it'll be Juliet Pessner. Olivia Farrar will be the stroke. Mariah Boyle will be in seat 7. Abigail Kerner will be in seat 6. Bridge Kennedy will be in seat 5. Claire Albert in seat 4. Mackenzie Smith in seat 3. Tessa Buchan in seat 2. And Josie Volk is the bow for Harvard Radcliffe as we get set for our final varsity 8 here of the morning. And so far, Alex, it's been a very tight race to this point, but it looks like BU over on that far side has started to build just a little bit.
Yeah, this is one of our biggest races of the day, obviously. First varsity 8 between 3 teams that are all ranked very, very highly. BU there on the right side looks like they have been able to build out a bit of a lead. MIT and Harvard are a little bit closer to each other, but unlike the other times we saw the Terriers kind of take a massive lead by the middle of the race, while it looks like the Terriers will be in front coming under the bridge, it's not going to be by one of those margins where you can put this one in the win column early for the Terriers.
So far for BU today, they have had some very impressive performances in the lightweight just because of what they've done. And we talked about it, that what they've done earlier may lead up to what we may see here in this varsity 8, which is a dominating performance by BU. It's not starting out that way so far, but just something to keep in mind with the way that BU has performed all the way around here today.
Yeah, it's been really impressive to watch with the way they've rode. You take a look at what they've done this season. The Connect Cup a couple of weeks ago, they were 3rd place. They had a win over Bates a few weeks ago, and at the end of March came out in front against MIT and BC. They beat MIT by about 14 seconds and had a 21-second pad over the Eagles. It's a team that is the defending Eastern Sprints champions, 2nd at IRA Nationals. So the Terriers, awfully impressive, and you can see that they've been able to put open water between themselves and Radcliffe and MIT. And it looks like MIT and Radcliffe are about as close as you can be, neck and neck there, battling for 2nd place. Right now the Terriers, with a great sprint here, have been able to pull themselves out to a significant lead by several boat lengths at the midway portion of this race.
And that was not what we saw earlier in this race. It was very even. That was just within the last couple of strokes by BU. They were able to build that advantage.
Harvard looks like it's got about 3 or 4 seat advantage over MIT.
We take a look at the lineups one more time, show you who's on each boat. And for BU, it's Katie Barnett, that's the Cox. Janice Hagerman is the stroke. Amy Connell is in seat 7. Izzy Bischler will be in seat 6. Haley Prindle in seat 5. Caroline Birdsall in 4. Megan Robinson in 3. Tamara Gelfman in seat 2. And Frances Hossman is the bow for BU. And for MIT, for the Engineers, it's Chloe Thacker is the Cox. Sophia Byrne is the stroke. Jamie Cook is in seat 7. Emily Rabinowitz is in seat 6. Haley Higginbotham is in seat 5. Sophie Anderson in 4. Sophie Herviscovini is in seat 3. Bridge Bain is in 2. And Frances Parker Hale is the bow for MIT. And for Harvard Radcliffe, take a look one more time at their lineup. It's Juliette Pessner is the Cox. Olivia Ferrar is the stroke. Mariah Boyle is in seat 7. Abigail Kerner in seat 6. Bridge Kennedy is in seat 5. Claire Albert is in 4. Mackenzie Smith in 3. Tessa Buchan is in 2. Josie Volk is the bow for Harvard.
So BU had that big lead coming under the bridge, and now into the final about 600-700 meters. Looks like they're still going at a pretty strong clip. That wind has been picking up, though, a headwind slowing these crews down here. We saw much quicker times earlier in the day before the wind and the waves picked up than what we're seeing now.
We saw much quicker times last year. To note, we mentioned 18 miles an hour has been the steady pace, around 15. Also, last year at this time for this race, Alex, it was 8-mile-an-hour winds. So a heavy, considerable difference from last year with the headwind at 8 miles an hour as opposed to this year, which is going to be at 18, sitting right around the 15 to 18 mark.
We'll see what kind of finishing kick each one of these crews has. Harvard has picked it up a bit because they know they've fallen behind here, and they've got a ways to go to try and make up. It appears that Radcliffe has put some distance between itself and MIT. Radcliffe is there in the middle with BU on the right, MIT on the left. And the Crimson were stroking it at about a 33-34 there, whereas BU is still in that pretty consistent 30 range. Let's see if that's enough to be able to make up some ground with the final 500 meters here coming up.
BU still with a considerable lead, as Harvard trailing just behind, and right behind them is MIT. So Harvard Radcliffe is in second, MIT in third, and BU Terriers in front by a margin here.
And the Terriers have not been picking up their stroke rate. They've been staying at that pretty consistent rate. Apologize for the technical difficulties here on a very, very long day of rowing. We're bringing basically 3 hours of rowing to you. We had a couple of glitches here along the way, but you get a good idea as to how much the Terriers lead by here down the stretch. As Harvard, that last kick doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
It's been BU all day, and it looks like our final race here in this lightweight is going to be the story of the morning, which is the BU Terriers and what they have done so far here this morning. It's been very impressive, and an impressive win here for BU in the Bean Pot.
Yeah, it's a moment that the Terriers are going to want to capture and frame just like this, all alone, as they've been able to win. If they hold on here, it's going to end up being 4 wins in 5 races, with only the Harvard Radcliffe Varsity 4 coming out with a slim come-from-behind victory against the Terriers. But this has certainly been the Terriers' day, as you see them pass the finishing line once again all alone.
It's the BU Terriers, winners of the Bean Pot, and now the Maury Cup coming down to Harvard and MIT. And it's going to be Harvard Radcliffe that will take the Maury Cup. So how about that, Alex? The finishing touches put on by BU, but Harvard not going away empty-handed on both the heavyweight and lightweight side here this morning.
Yeah, about a